Monday, August 18th, the Slightly Serious Sign podcast goes live. That's right. Join the boys for a live Q&A on YouTube at 10 a.m. Unfiltered, uncensored-ish. Anything could happen. Submit your questions now at podcast@wensco.com. Don't miss this one. Monday, August 18th, 10 a.m. YouTube. Oh, yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Arlon Graphics, a trusted source for high-performance cast vinyl. This is their new product, DPF V9500, which is a high-performance, non-PVC polyurethane product that is made for highly textured surfaces like this. Check out this and all the new products Arlon has coming out at Wensco.com. If you're listening on audio, somebody's just wearing a plain, I don't know what this is, American Eagle t-shirt.
Yeah. Okay, I'll quick tell the story. So I go to the gym, which is like almost an hour from my house because I meet someone there, and went to the gym, showered, put my shirt on, nice, got in the car, went to shake my protein shake. Lid wasn't on.
Done that.
And it's still dark out when I'm doing it. Shook it, and I'm like, I can feel it. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I hope I have another pair of jeans. And like, at this point, I can't go all the way home. I mean, I could, but
it's the worst.
And I can't blame anybody because I'm the one that didn't put the lid on. So it's just me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 75 of the Slightly Serious Sign podcast. We got our sponsors finally figured out, so thanks to Nakusa, who's on the mics, Arlon and Metamark for helping us out with this podcast. Arlon, we were supposed to add you in. We added him in last podcast, right? Wait, 3 podcasts ago from this one. Yeah, so we got it figured out eventually. Sorry it took us so long, but I did want to give a shout out because this is coming up quick, and they were like, hey, you should add it in, and then we never added it into the podcast. So we are going to be out at GPX RapsCon in Long Beach, California. This is their 10th anniversary of RapsCon, according to them. They said technically this is their 9th year doing it because they missed one because of COVID, but 10 years since they started. So a little different from how they've done it before. So it used to be a bunch of like individual prizes. So you used to get like kits and tools and all that kind of stuff if you won.
Bunch of crap you don't want to fly back with.
Yeah, that's what he told them last year when they asked for feedback. And they're like, you should just do a cash prize. That's a way better option. And cash prize. Look at that. You ask and you get it. So,
well, I mean, you can't get back on a plane. Oh, we'll ship it to you. Like, well, just give them the money.
I'm not sure the IRS is going to let you get back with $15,000 in your suitcase, though, either. They're going to start asking some questions. Have you ever flown with a box of business cards? They stop you for that.
You got to spread it out between a couple people because you can. I think you can bring 10 grand. So like a couple
it's
two different people.
It's the same rules as online gambling. As long as you don't bring it all back in one sum, they can't tax it. Yeah, I think that's how it works. Yeah,
just give a little random kid $2,000.
Yeah. Can you hold this until we get off the plane? I'll give you half of it.
No, not outside. He's like he's the kid in front of you before you go through security, and you just slide it in his backpack, and then you grab it and get to the other side. Yeah, that's what you need to do. So, $15,000 first place prize for RapsCon. So, if you think you're really good at it, come out and try out. It's teams of 2. And
do we know any teams yet? We got any super team? Me and Nick at Montroy.
Yeah, you and Nick, I heard, are going to compete together. So, I don't know how early you can get eliminated, but that's probably about how early it will be. Is be my guess. So,
they might keep us in just for. We do put a fair amount of money into RapsCon. The money part should play effect in how we.
They scored you. You got like a 9 out of 30, but there was a 15-point sponsorship bonus on that one, so you actually got 24. That's a good job. They have second place and third place. I think they're doing some PPF stuff this year, which will add another element. So they'll do print, color change, and PPF. So hopefully. Anyone that's well-versed is going to be the most likely to win. So I don't think there's a ton of people that do all 3 of those things. So it'll be interesting to see where that all lands.
So really, if you think you're good, come try and you'll find out that you actually suck.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of the bigger names out there going to be there this year at least. So whether they're competing or not, I don't know, but it should be good. So
You don't know how bad you are until you see someone really good.
it was funny to see some of the people that we didn't know they were competing until they attempted to do this is the other thing, there's side challenges as well. We have one of them, but they tried to do our challenge and it was awful. And you're like, oh, and you're competing. Not only that, you charge people to wrap cars because I hope it's very cheap. That's my only hope. That's all I have to say about it. So if you think I'm talking about you and you were at the show, I wasn't talking about you. It was the other person, you know.
We could attach pictures.
Yeah, this person.
This person right here. They sucked.
I'm just kidding. That would be you and Nick. That's who I would be holding up in this picture. So anyways, that was my plug. Come out to RapsCon. It's in August 20 something. Look it up. Rick will put some information here. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it. I told him after I did the one, I'm just going to keep doing it now. So anyways, we have some guests. We haven't introduced them and we're 6 minutes in. So we're doing a pretty good job here of our jobs. So thanks for coming, guys. We appreciate you guys driving out. If you guys want to do a quick intro, I should probably pull up my questions anyways. Who are you? How long you guys been doing this? And where you guys are from, obviously.
Frankie Markasovic from Graphic Image Corporation. We're in Orland Park, Illinois, just south suburbs of Chicago. It'll be 10 years for me professionally in industry. And I say that professionally because it's our family company and we've been working in and around the shop since we were, little kids. Used to work for pizza and Mountain Dew. That was our payment before we got paid, professionally. So, but it'll be 10 years for me in August. That's pretty much it for me. Joe?
Yeah, I'm Joey Markasovic with Graphic Image Corp. Started 6 months ago. It was back in December. So, pretty fresh in the industry.
How old are you guys?
I just turned 32 in May.
25.
Pretty close.
Is it? Yeah. So Tyler's 30 and my oldest son, and then Tater's 25. So
we got two brothers in between us too.
Yeah.
So it's about very close. So yeah. I had 3 boys and did 4 boys. So
yeah, about 2 years apart, all of us.
Yeah, we're all 3, so we're right in the same ballpark there. So you're 25. You just started there. So what took you so long?
That's a good question. I was at another company for about 3 years where we did medical sales. My brother approached me with our business is growing quite a bit. Sounded like a good opportunity. He may have wined and dined me as well with a couple of Draft Miller Lights that may have helped.
Does a trick. Some hot wings in there too.
Yeah, it was just something, I had never planned on coming into the industry. It's a great, I always knew it was a big industry and our business was, doing great. I wasn't really interested in it. But as soon as I got into it, it's like, wow, you realize how much it's around you every day, just signs everywhere or print, stickers, it's all around you. So it's interesting. Learned a ton.
I asked because I was the last one to come here and work at Wensco. Both my younger brothers worked here and I was the last one to come in. So yeah. I related. Yeah, I was like, I don't want to come work for this guy over here he's sitting over here.
It's hard work with your dad.
It worked okay in the end. So, so far we'll see if it keeps working out, but
do your other brothers work for the company too or no? One
of our other brothers, Tommy, works for us for a while. And he's doing his own things, actually going to barber school right now and changing up a little bit. And our other brother, Michael, is a nurse. He's living out in Oregon at the moment. He's a travel nurse.
Nice.
So he does contracts, 6 month stints. So
that's good. From what I understand, that's good money right now.
It's great money.
It's great.
We have a camper in Louisville for our Louisville location. And a lot of the people that live in that same row as me are travel nurses because they needed some in Louisville or whatever. So they literally pulled their 5th wheel in. They're going to work there for 6 months. Then they get the next assignment. They bring their 5th wheel to the next place.
Yep.
And it's cheap living.
Yeah. They get like a living stipend too.
They make
a housing and stuff.
This lady was telling me she makes a fair amount of money.
He just got married too. So just him and his wife and their dog just living the dream out there.
Yeah. He's out climbing mountains on a Tuesday. What are you doing, dude?
Calling us in the middle of the day, Mike, we work.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, my kids still call me in the middle of the day and they're supposed to be at work.
Sometimes. Yeah. Depends on the day.
It's a good thing.
So do you want to explain just briefly kind of what Graphic Image Corp does and kind of what all you guys cover, which is a lot, obviously. So.
Yeah, we kind of position ourselves as a full service print provider. So we started out doing offset printing. We have a 40-inch Heidelberg 6-color, just running 40 by 28 inch sheets, paper printing, basically brochures, collateral, pocket folders, you name it. We do direct mail as well. And then when I came aboard 10 years ago, I kind of pioneered the wide format segment of our industry as a complementary service. And it's just grown into basically its own living organism within the walls of Graphic Image. So we're able to, hit all those different service areas of our industry. The only thing we don't do is like screen printing or garment or apparel, although everyone asks us all the time. Is really starting to interest us a little bit. But
it's a good add-on. It's a good add-on. And you can start small and then work your way up too. So entry level is pretty cheap to get into, to at least do 10 at a time.
Right.
Cheaper than
I'm already talking Dad into it. So.
Yeah. We got to convence our dad about everything. So
have him call me.
Yeah.
Tell him how you can
sell him equipment.
You can start super cheap.
Yeah.
And then, as you get, 10 shirts and then you get to 20, then you get to 100. It's just different equipment.
Right.
So,
yeah, it's of interest. But we do a little bit of everything.
So did you add on wide format to sell to the existing, or was it to grow a whole different segment?
Correct.
What was the original plan, I guess?
Yeah, it was basically complementary. Like we had customers that would buy, we do a ton of booklet work. So we're doing a bunch of event stuff, booklets, programs, cards, you name it. And they asked for some foam boards. So my dad went and bought a 64-inch Muto Eco Solvent hybrid. I don't even remember the SKU number at the time. This was, like a year or two before I had started. So it was just a little complimentary thing that they would just poke around with. That's kind of how our dad is. He kind of just gets into something and, he dabbled in it. And then when I came aboard, I just fell in love with it. He took me to SGIA in 2015 down in Atlanta. And I just we walked through the trade show floor and the UV smell hit my nose and I just saw how big it was. I'm like, wow, this is cool. This is what I want to do. So I started becoming obsessed with it, started researching and learning all the stuff on my own, and just fell in love with it and said, I'm just going to grow this thing within our walls and still selling print and mail and all that stuff. And we just grew it to its own, like I said, self-living organism that's just kind of operates on its own within our walls. So
do you think now, originally the plan is to sell from offset into large format. Do you think you do more cross-selling that way, or do you think it's more business coming in from large format for you guys right now?
So it used to be that way. Now we do so much more wide format work that we're gaining clients through the wide format segment, and now we can cross-sell our offset and direct mail. So it's kind of funny how that worked.
Yeah, I think large format is kind of a good foot in the door for new business.
Right.
And all the other products that come with it, XYZ, it's kind of just a full service opportunity for them.
Every time we take someone in a tour in our facility, we got like really nice facility. It's like 42,500 square feet. I always tell them, the bread and butter is the printing on paper and mail or whatever. But it's not as sexy as a car wrap or a wall mural or a sign. That's sexy. It sells and people get that. So that's really kind of put the hooks in people to help bring them in. And then when they understand that we do all these other things in house, it's huge for us, and people appreciate having everything done under one roof. So that's kind of our strength.
Yeah. I think we've seen too, the word of mouth on the sign side of things is so much greater than the brochure, right? Like there's not very many people that are going to pick up a brochure and be like, oh, where did you get this thing printed? Like it's going to happen sometimes, right? Like we get it with our business cards sometimes too, but like most of the time it's just like, oh, thank you for this brochure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a complimentary thing. Nobody thinks twice about it. But when you walk in and like this, like wall mural type stuff, right? Yeah. Everyone immediately is like, oh sweet, I need one of these.
Or a lit up sign. I mean, it grabs your eye.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And they're way more likely to be like, okay, where did you get that? Because I didn't know this was an option for me. So I imagine it's a lot easier to snowball that business than it is to snowball brochures.
Yeah, sure.
That kind of stuff.
Which is funny because I keep getting yelled at. I'm the marketing guy internally too, but I never have time to do it because I'm selling and I got 3 kids at home and 1 more on the way, and I'm just all over the place. And everyone's always giving me crap about.
Don't get me started.
About our internal marketing efforts. Like, hey, we need a sales thing. We need a. And I'm like, we're getting sales without any of these, items because it's all word of mouth. It's just networking, and you do a good job on someone's wall mural, and then they're going to refer you to 3 other people, and then that network just keeps spiraling out and gets you more and more referrals. So it's kind of funny how that works.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. We always talk about this with car wraps, but I always say that like the best way to sell a car wrap is to do good wraps. Like if you do a good wrap, like more business just will start coming your way. And we see that with some of our big shops where they'll just be like, yeah, we are just replacing existing wraps that have been put on not that long ago, right? You're talking like 2, 3, 4 months. 4 months later, they're like, these are not looking like what we were expecting them to look like, and are just getting their cars rewrapped. They're like, I get so much business from people that just do it poorly,
right?
And then are like, hey, we need somebody that, and they'll just stop someone on the side of the road, right? Be like, where did you get your car wrapped? And they'll be like, I don't know. I work for this company. What am I supposed to tell you? But
Can
I'll find
I touch
out.
it?
Yeah.
We used to have
Guy at the gas station.
we always had a matte wrap on the car, and everybody would walk over. Can I touch it? I'm like, it's just vinyl. Like, they'd like,
Yeah.
Oh, it feels so nice. Like, it's just car wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just a weird, the whole thing is weird. Like people look at it and still don't understand it now. Like I think it's more understood now, like car wraps are, but before it was just like people literally did not understand it at all. So it's interesting. But do you think you, so going back to the large format, you made a big push on that. So starting 10 years ago, roughly is what you're saying. So where do you think you had the difficulties in scaling that side of the business coming from the offset side?
Learning everything from scratch before like a heavy YouTube presence, you know, 2015 YouTube isn't what 2025 YouTube is today. I can, you know, actually want to hear something funny? Every time I saw, we have a GFP laminator 663.
Yeah.
Awesome. Every time I have to run it, like if some of our guys are off or whatever, and I'm plugging in to help out, I pull up your YouTube video.
How to web it?
Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, all right, I got it. So every single time I pull up your video and I'm like, all right, so props to you for that. But learning from scratch was tough. A lot of trial and error, which helps down the road, learning what not to do.
Yeah.
Right. To be successful in anything, it's like you got to fail and know what not to do to know what to do. So that was probably the biggest hurdle for us. But yeah, that YouTube video is great.
Good.
You did a good job.
Is that the video that you told me we needed to redo? Is that the same video?
Yeah, Sam said we got to redo that one. I can't remember why though.
No, it was the guy in Louisville told me we had to redo it.
Why?
I don't remember. He said I look like an idiot while I was doing the video. That's what he said. And
I think it's great.
Okay.
I mean,
I
you
don't
don't
know if
look like
it's the
an
same
idiot
video.
either way, so you might as well just keep the video up.
That's what I said when you told me to redo it. How is it going to look any better? It's still going to be me.
I think
I still don't know what I'm doing.
I think verbatim in the video, you're like, if I could do it, anyone could do it.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I can do
And at
this.
the time, that was true. I had never done it before. Now I feel at least mildly comfortable laminating, but
Yeah, it's
before
super
I was
easy.
like, even when you read the diagram, you're like looking at it, you're like,
You need video.
I think whoever made this diagram, I'm sure they thought this is perfectly clear. And then you look at it and you're like, I don't understand a word in here.
Yeah.
None of this makes any sense to me. So
Difference between an engineer and a guy running a
somebody
laminator.
running a laminator.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah, someone like me that can't put anything together. If you miss one step, forget it.
And
How
that's
come
what
it goes from 5 to 7? Where's 6? It's not there. Forget it. I'm done. Can't put it together.
Yeah. And that's where it doesn't make sense because there's in the diagram, they include everything you need to know, but they don't show you every piece of the laminator. So you're looking at it like there's 2 extra bars here that aren't in this picture. I don't know where they go. It doesn't make any sense to me. So Sam, if you could fix that for us.
Speaking of Sam, Sam's a cool guy.
Has
Sam
he come
Crosby?
out?
Yeah. So I knew him when he worked for Arlon.
Oh, nice.
And speaking about starting out, he had come into our shop and I had told him like, dude, I don't know anything about this stuff. I just know what calendared and cast kind of means. And he came in and actually took the time to explain the differences and educate me on that and walk through all the Arlon SKUs. So I had remembered Sam from that interaction. And then years later, we go to buy this GFP laminator and I get a call on my office line. I can see the caller ID. It says Sam Crosby. I'm like, God, I know that name. And as he starts talking, I go, Sam, can I stop you? I'm like, did you used to work for Arlon? And then he remembered me too. And it was so funny, but he came out, he actually installed our laminator and got to catch up. And he's an awesome guy. Real good resource too.
He's just great.
Yeah.
He's been in the industry a super long time too.
Yeah.
So just across the board, I remember I called you on some laminator that I'd never seen before. And someone asked me a question. I was like, I've never even seen this thing before. I have no idea where it comes from, who makes it. I know nothing. And you're just like, call Sam. He'll probably know exactly. And I was like, Sam, I got this I have never seen it before. He's like, is it like light blue? It's like, that's a random question, but yes, it is. He's like, yeah, just do this. And I was like, oh, okay, sweet. And then I walked back into the customer. I was like, yeah, just do it this way and it should work. And I was like, I don't know because we don't sell them, but that's what I'm being told. They're like, yeah, it worked great. So I was like, that's the stuff where it's just like, how would I ever know that unless somebody explained it to me that way? So
it's about knowing who to call sometimes. You don't have to know everything, but if you know who to call,
100%,
then makes all the difference.
Yeah. So, so where did you guys start on large format then? Were you just doing like the small signage, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, literally just like, little foam boards, 24 by 36, easel stuff, a couple banners here and there. Is really just that easy stuff. And I remember at some point within a year or so, someone had brought up cart wraps or whatever. And I go, well, that's such a foreign idea to me. I don't know what materials to use. I don't even know how to set it up or whatever. And they kept pushing like, hey, you got to get into this. You got to get into this. I'm like, maybe, but we started real easy, that simple stuff. And our sales reflected that. Right. And then once we started rolling into vehicle wraps and wall murals and graphics, it just exploded. But starting simple it was rough. It wasn't paying any bills, I should say.
Yeah.
We were definitely learning for a while.
Yeah.
So
do you think it was, so some of these shops I always talk about this with some of the franchises specifically, where they'll come in and they'll be completely new, right? And they'll open a franchise and they offer everything, right? All at the same time, right? It's just like, we do all of it. And then they get into it and they're like, I don't 100% know what I'm doing here. Mm-hmm. Do you think it was easier to start from just being like, hey, let's just work our way into this versus if you had just been like, hey, let's go get trained and do the whole 9 yards? Do you think it was easier to start from the beginning versus like you're setting out people for training now?
100%, because we had the luxury of that because we had a fully fledged business that was doing fine on its own between the offset printing and mailing. So it was almost like a little science lab for me. But you would get those requests that would push you in a direction to learn something new, which was nice. But we could also say no, if we didn't feel comfortable doing it. But I always said yes and just figured it out later, which helped me learn. I failed a lot, but I think that approach was easier. And not everyone has the luxury to do that. So it was much easier for us to bolt on those offerings, the wide format offerings, than I couldn't imagine jumping into a franchise not knowing crap about the industry. And
like me.
Yeah, like Joe.
Yeah.
Well, having a business behind you to
if you couldn't ask anybody any questions, that's what it would be like. Yeah. So, I mean, now instead we get those questions, which is great. I mean, that's why we do those shows for sure. It's because people will be like, yeah, what is LED flex? They'll be like, I've never seen this before. Be like, it's been around a little while, so hopefully I'll be familiar with it. But that's the type of stuff, like if you don't know, it's really hard to show somebody everything that they need to know to do something, if that makes sense. Like, I think it's so much easier to do it and mess it up. And then next time somebody goes to do it, be like, hey, don't specifically take off the fire alarm from the wall. Okay.
Exactly.
Just as a recommendation, right? That's just like one of the examples where like, when you mess it up badly enough, like you're just going to forever tell people that story specifically. It's like, hey, don't do this thing because it's not going to work out long-term. But if you've never done it, like it's a lot easier to just keep making small mistakes over and over again and not know that you're making them at all. So
you need that feedback.
Yeah.
You need to know what not to do for sure.
So, what do you think kind of the biggest bottlenecks that you guys are running into now that you offer both offset and large format?
Kind of just learning what like our bandwidth is, like how much we can take on, and running lean. Like we got a pretty lean wide format department. Like I got 2 full-time guys running printing production, and they're out on installs too. We utilize some really good external installation only teams in our area too, which are great and very helpful for that. But sometimes it's just biting off more than we can chew. And then, figuring out how to get it all done in a timely manner is probably the biggest, which is a luxury that some people might not have. Yeah. So I'm not complaining about it, but that's probably the biggest. And just understanding that like, all right, this is like kind of our max capability at the moment with the equipment we have, and almost a paralysis of like, where do we want to take this? Like we just bought a brand new HP R2000 to focus on a rigid output, which we know we're really good at. We got a CNC cutter, so we have all that workflow down pat, but throwing a couple weird, funky projects that kind of just screws everything up. I got guys coming off the R2 to come focus on whatever the stupid packaging project that I brought in and sold, It's stuff like that. It's learning to focus on what we're good at and figuring out what it is I want to focus on. You know, I've done way more of that in the last couple of years since COVID, is figuring out what it is I want us to focus on. And, you know, I'm not jumping into LED lit signage yet, but it's been on my mind. But I don't have to jump into that right now. We're pretty maxed out with what we have, the services we're trying to focus on.
Yeah. Do you think it's easier, and you may not know the answer because you only do it one way, right? But do you think it's easier to have people on your team that do both sides of that business versus just do production or just do install? Do you think that's helpful or been hurtful, I guess, to your business?
It's both. It's nice to have someone cross-trained in a couple different things, like Nick, our lead operator. He's also our lead in-house installer, excuse me. But when he's out installing all day, you know, we're shorthanded in production. So sometimes I got to run up there, or we got to figure out how to push timelines around. So that's the curse of it. But, you know, the good part of it is that I have a guy I can go send out today if you need something done. Nick will go run out and jump in the car or jump in the van and go knock something out. It's nice to be able to offer that service. So it's just, again, that's our bottleneck, is figuring out like how to prioritize things, and is it worth it for us, you know?
Yeah, because I know some people run into issues where if you have production install and sometimes they aren't in alignment, right? Or the way that production prefers to do things and the ways installers prefer to have things done isn't in alignment, and you'll run into delays on that end. So I think you're playing a game of like, okay, well, if production and install are the same team, then at least they're doing it the same way. But then you're running into an issue of, well, sometimes we have everyone in install and everyone in production. We're not doing it either way there. So
it is nice having a guy like Nick who is trained in installing and who's running, you know, he's ripping files down and setting them up the way he knows they should be. So that's a huge blessing, is now that he's on that side of things, he's understanding of the pre-press side of things and how to set something up, or why we set it up this way, to make it easier in the field. Because the last thing you want to do is be on an install and have, you know, MFing the pre-press person who put this thing together, you know.
If someone trimmed it 2 inches short.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Or like, why couldn't we just add 12 inches more bleed to this thing? Just give me a little more wiggle room.
Just add. I always tell Tyler's team too the same thing. Like,
don't cut off the ends. Yeah.
Always add bleed. Like, because if we mess up anywhere, we can fix it. If there's enough bleed, you can at least fix it enough where people don't know that you fixed it.
Right. I do the same thing. Sometimes
it's worth
I
that extra ink and time. It's worth that extra ink and time. Right. Just one mess up will save all that money you wasted.
Yep. Sometimes I add too much on like wall murals. You know, like sometimes we'll get customers who, like, our wall is, you know, 418 inches wide. Well, customers are usually never right. So, but sometimes we can't, whatever timeline constraints are, we can't go out there and do a site survey. So we got to take their word for it. It's like, you know, I'm adding an extra 12 inches of bleed just to be safe. My aunt's always like, you need so much bleed on here. I'm like, dude, I'd rather have more than not enough.
Yep, exactly.
You can't add it back on. You know what I mean? You can always cut it off.
Yeah. And even we've learned that just doing we walked you by the van earlier, but like, we don't do that side of the business, right? But for these classes, we're doing, you know, design, print, prep, all of that stuff for the class. And I always joke that it takes us about 3 classes every year to get the van really dialed in, right? Nobody will probably notice in the first one, right? If we never said anything, it would run smooth. Nobody would notice the difference, but you'll notice it immediately. If you're like, anyone that's done it long enough will be like, oh yeah, you obviously cut a corner here, right? And so we're on our 3rd one. This next one is our 3rd one. And I was like, I think we're there.
I think I told you, I said, why don't you just print them all? Like, we don't have it right yet.
Yeah, that's what I said. He said,
because I'm like, why do you keep doing them? Just print them all. Why do you keep having to do them just before the class? We don't have it right yet.
Yeah. We had it pretty dialed in now. So, I mean, but that type of stuff, like if you don't do both sides of it, like, you have no idea, right? Production could do it the same way for 10 years and then nobody's giving that feedback that's like, hey, this, you know, when you put the seam here, it's not great for me or anybody that's involved. If you could just move it, you know, 2 inches over, it would be perfect.
Makes all the difference.
But if nobody tells them, like, if there's no chain of command there, then they'll just keep doing it the same way, right? Like, this makes sense. This is the most efficient way to print it. And it's like, okay, but you save, you know, 5 minutes on the printer to do it this way, and it cost me 4 hours on install. That doesn't really add up, right? So I think it's good to have people on cross-train on both sides of that. But do you guys do like design in-house as well? We do.
We have an in-house designer. She does a really good job. Her name is Kate. Does a really good job. We use some external design sources too. You know, if Kate feels, or if sometimes Kate's design queue is just so backlogged, it's like we got to reach out to our other designers we know who do freelance work just to spread it out a little bit, which isn't a bad thing. Yeah. And some designers, have better strength at certain wall mural aesthetics we look for. But bringing it in-house has definitely made a lot of difference. She started about a year ago.
Then you start to get, now that your jobs all look the same, but your work will get recognized, right? Like as your car wraps will start to get recognized because your designer has certain tendencies the whole time. So there's times where I can look at it and like, all right, I know who designed that.
Right.
So, and you'll get the same thing where people will start liking it and like your work, and then they're going to ask for you because, hey, I like that. And there's going to look similar.
Right.
So they like certain colors, and they like certain colors that go with certain colors. They like certain designs. So
definitely.
So do you guys like bill for design work then? Once you brought her on? So that's kind of how you...
We always had, I had done some design work before I had her in. Yeah. And I just, my design time was on the weekends, and it was just not great for me at home, balancing home and life or work and life. So, but yeah, we do bill hourly, have a minimum, I was explaining that to Joey, when he's selling design work to customers, and he's like, why do we have a 2-hour minimum or whatever? I'm like, you just got to cover your time. You're paying for a designer now too, it does generate a little bit of income, but it is a service. So some people don't bill for it, which I think is a disservice to our industry. Otherwise you'd have a designer on staff and you're paying them however much a year. Do you know what I mean? That's a trade-off. So
yeah, I know that, there's people that really talk about like knowing your costs. And I think some people have no idea what their costs are into it. So like, that's why I ask that kind of question. Is some people don't know if like bringing on a designer would be beneficial to them, right? They don't know what the cost is. So they're like, would it make sense for us? We don't know. We don't have the numbers in front of us, versus knowing like, oh, hey, here's how much we paid a freelancer. Here's how much we bill for. Okay. We probably can afford to bring someone on and make money this way.
Right.
But if you don't have those numbers, you're not going to know. So
one nice thing we have going for us is Kate actually does pre-press for us as well. So she's actually pre-flighting files, sending customers proofs and getting approval. So she'll serve that purpose on top of design too. She's kind of got a split function there, which is really helpful for us.
That's got to be helpful as well for like getting that feedback from the customer, right? Like, cause sometimes we'll get this on our end, right? Where like the sales, there's too many people in line, right? So the customer will tell the sales rep something, the sales rep will tell you something, and then you'll give it back to the sales rep. The sales rep will give it to the customer, and the customer will be like, oh, I need these changes. And then it goes back to you. Yeah. It's like playing telephone, right? Where you're like, I've got about 80% of the information at any given time. And I think that sometimes happens with designers, right? Where they'll be like, yeah, they said they want like a little bit more of this. And be like, what do you mean? Be like, I just gave you all the information I have. I have nothing else for you at this point. But if they're doing that front part, it's probably a lot easier. It's probably preferred on her end anyways to be like, hey, here's my design. Is there anything you would like changed? And then be able to ask all the clarifying questions. So
I'm guilty of sending my own proofs sometimes. So I'm doing a little bit of that telephone with our designer. So
it's not fun because it's like the way your brain interprets it and the way that her brain's going to interpret it when you relay the information is completely different, right? Sorry to interrupt you guys, but I just want to take a minute to talk about Nakusa, the name behind R-Tape. R-Tape's the #1 application tape out there, but they are more than just tape now. Nakusa has a full range of products out there. Their new one is called Nexbond. This is a UV cured adhesive. Why does that matter? It's an eco-friendly and durable option, but comparable to most of the eco-friendly options, this is a cost-effective product. So if you're looking for an eco-friendly product or a durable product or just in general a good vinyl, Nexbond is going to be the one for you. This is available at Wensco.com as well as all of their other products. So check it out at Wensco or reach out if you have any questions. Oh, and don't forget to use your Nakusa bucks. Have you heard about MetaMark? MetaMark is a company that sells premium graphic solutions for commercial and fleet signage. So whether that's walls or it's vehicles or it's tables or doors, we loved it so much we put it all over the podcast studio. So you can check it out on our videos or at Wensco.com. I always talk about this with you. I would tell people a story. The one time I was asking, for whatever reason, I was out. Oh, it was right when I started. So I was out making sales calls and we were on a conference call asking to get something changed. And I was like, yeah, this is the way I want it laid out. And it was Rick, Bonnie, and you were in the conference room and I was over the phone and I was like, yeah. And Bonnie kept asking questions and I was like, I feel like this is the most clear I've ever been in my life. I don't understand how this is difficult. And I hear him on the phone say, yeah, he just wants it to look like this. And I like hear him like drawing it out, and then he hands it to her and she says, okay, that makes sense. And I say, yeah, that's right. And the joke is I had no idea. Like I had no idea what he drew on the paper. I was like, but he probably understood what I was saying versus she didn't. And I feel like sometimes that happens with designers where it's like, nobody understands. Interpretation.
They'll interpret it differently. And you don't know until you send a proof and they go, no, absolutely
not even close.
Yeah, no.
Which I'm sure happens all the time. Too.
I always say like, just ask for visuals. I just told Joey that the other day. He's like, I got a customer wanting, X, Y, Z. I'm like, ask them for a visual, because what they're asking for and what we think they want are probably two different things. So it just helps cut up that time. I found sometimes they don't have visuals though. So that's the fun part too.
Well, just tell them to ask ChatGPT. They'll get it all done for them.
Right.
You get, what's worse? You can get a ChatGPT image or you can get Canva. Those are your two options. You have to pick one.
I'll take ChatGPT. I've gotten in trouble with Canva a couple times.
Yeah. Yeah, Canva. It's HD though. That's what it says on the file. Have you seen the file size?
Oh yeah. You ask for vectors and they send the Canva link. It's like
there's a link. It's not even a file anymore.
Yeah.
So, so when you guys went from, like you said, you were starting out, and you're just doing, small graphics on vehicles or small walls and that kind of stuff. And now I see you guys doing like big wall mural type works, right? How do you think you guys scaled from? What do you think helped scaled from small graphics all the way up to full wraps and wall murals?
A lot of hard work. And knowing the right people. You had alluded to that earlier. I have a lot of good resources around me. And one thing I've learned in the industry is like, I'm friends with a lot of shops around us too. So like I can call, Ron from Fast Signs in Tinley and ask him something and he'll do the same to me. So I've learned that it's beneficial to have friends in the industry than, adversaries or whatever you want to call it. I feel like a lot of older guys are kind of more on the other side of the spectrum, like really.
Like what's older?
Well, I was going to get into
just
that.
Curious what older guys. He said older guys, right? What is older?
He meant the boomers.
Yeah, that's the boomers.
Yeah.
Boomers.
That's exactly
that's
what
Gen
I meant.
X and baby boomers all grouped in together now.
Well, I've learned that it's like, some guys are just gatekeepers. It's like, well, how are we going to learn the industry? How are we going to pass that knowledge on to the next generations? If we're not talking or learning from each other. And there's so much work out there. We're all busy. It's not like we're starving for work. So anyway, long-winded, but that's one thing I've learned. Like I have good resources I can go and ask about. If I'm not sure how to set something up, I can call Chad from Fast Lane Wraps and ask him something. And he'll be happy to share that information with me. It's so beneficial for someone learning. I got 10 years in, he's got 20 or 30. So it makes a huge difference. So making those connections is really huge for me. Learning, by trial and error is really big for me. Walking around and looking how things are done is, my wife is Amber. She's so annoyed. Like we can't go anywhere without me touching and feeling and looking.
He walked in this room and he started feeling the wall.
That's exactly what I did. And I was like, what is this?
Yeah. He looked at the poor install work. Could have been anybody.
I think it looks good.
We do the same thing though. Like when we're out and about, like we're touching every sign. Like we want to know what it is. I mean, we've seen literally everything at this point.
T-shirts and everything, dude. You're just like, oh yeah, this is a nice.
They usually don't work good when you feel their T-shirt when it's still on them though.
Yeah, that's not as successful.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Some people don't like that as much. Yeah. It's a little invasion of privacy or something. I don't know.
Depends on gender and age too.
Oh God. Yeah, that'll make a difference.
Yeah.
Learning how something's done or how someone else has done it is real beneficial. It's like, oh, okay, I understand what they did here. Oh, that's just PVC. It's just cut and folded a certain way. It looks really cool. Like I can do that, with the right equipment. So the knowledge, like the learning curve was, real slow in the beginning, but it just took off for me. And I started learning what we're good at, what we needed to invest in to help, feed into what our customers were asking us for. So that was really it.
What's that conversation like? Hey, Dad. Ken's got to drop a package up.
Better be food.
Thanks, Ken.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
So what's that like? Hey, Dad, we really need this. Then how's it go? What's Dad like? We don't think we need this. What is he like?
Let's see what Joey's take is.
If it's not offset, he doesn't want to hear it.
He's a big fan of Print United then, the show. Yeah. He really likes that one half of the show. The other half's not a fan of. Yeah, I understand.
No, he's pretty aggressive in buying equipment, I think, whether it's for wide format or for, finishing equipment on offset. He's never shy to, get the latest and greatest technology, which I think has been great for us. So it's not that hard of a battle. You just
good. You need to keep up, right? Like there's so many older guys that
boomers,
way older than me, that think it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
But there's people going twice as fast as you with better quality, and you could have already paid for that machine by going twice as fast with better quality.
Right.
And people don't understand that. They're like, oh, it still works. We're still cranking it.
Yeah.
They're still cranking. They're still hand rolling it and cranking it, and
it's true. It just or investing in the tech, right?
Yep.
Like I'm privy to HP. I really like HP printers, and I like the user interface on that. It's super easy to teach someone, in my opinion. Someone new and green. Like I can throw Joey upstairs, like, hey, dude, put a roll of poster paper on there and follow the cues, and he could do it.
Sometimes,
but you wouldn't get that on an older model or a different model. So investing in tech is huge. Our dad's been really good at that.
Yeah.
But
everybody that comes into our shop is pretty taken back by the kind of equipment we got. So
we actually do a lot of wholesale work. We do a lot of work for other printers and or sign shops now too, who don't have the equipment or people we do. So that's been big for us too. But because our dad's been really proactive and staying up to date or buying a perfect binder because he wants to get in a perfect binding, and then we just figure out how to sell it. That's kind of what we've been good at, which it sounds crazy to some people, I'm sure, but he's always made it work. So
Mom's not always happy. She wants new blinds in the house. Dad's buying a new perfect binder.
We hide our work purchases from Mom.
Makes sense.
Mom. Mom's been sitting on the same couch for 30 years, mad about it every night. But hey, they got new equipment at work.
They've upgraded the printer 4 times in that time frame. But
it's happened.
But no, I think it's important. Especially if you're trying to grow, right? Like to be at least on par or ahead of your competitor is a huge help. You brought up a good point about wholesale, because I think we just had this conversation the last rap class we were at, because I almost blanked on the name. Sign Team, thank you. They do a lot of wholesale work out of Iowa, right? And I was like, if you want to talk during the class, like he gave us the space. Like, hey, you're welcome to talk. And that's what he said. He said, don't tell your customers no. He said, just like call us. That was his whole pitch. Like, if you can't do it, call us and we'll do it. And I was making a joke after he said that. I said, if you saw what they did yesterday, they rolled out like I don't know the size, but it was like 16 feet by 48-foot banner that they just had rolled across the floor in their shop, basically. And I was like, I know for a fact, not a single one of you guys could pull off this print here. Like, it's just not going to happen for the guys that are in the class. I was like, but it's all an option for you, right? Like, if you know the right people in the industry, you can just say yes. And there's other sign shops that would be happy to help you, because you'll both make money, right? They don't need to, if you bring me the sale, right? Like, I'm happy to make a little bit of money on it and help you as well. So that's helpful for you guys as well as anyone obviously in the Chicago area for you guys to know about. So
yeah, definitely. That's been really good for us too. Like, I have a grand format source in Cincinnati, GCI digital imaging. Anytime I get requests for like 20 foot by 20 foot banners, I say yes, send it over to TJ and his team, and they knock it out. He's making money, we make money, and customers happy. So making those connections was huge for us too.
Yeah, especially if you don't, like, a lot of that stuff, you're not even really having to touch it necessarily.
Right.
So I was like, yeah sure. Like, I'm only making a little bit, but I don't have to do any work besides maybe design work on the front. But
you lose control, which is the hardest thing for people to overcome. But,
that's why we tell some people to get printers is like, get like some of that stuff you need to control. Like if you're running a wrap shop without a printer, like, yes, you can outsource it, but you lose that control. You screw up one panel, now you're 2 days behind.
Right.
Or a day and a half behind. Like, you need to have that in-house control. Even though I know you're supposed to laminate, whatever, but we all know we print it, laminate it, and put it on the car no matter what printer it is.
Right away.
So
no outcasting.
But yeah, we don't care. Well, actually, we like
HPs.
them. We don't mind them bubbling later, because then they got to buy another roll.
Yeah, we prefer you to wrap it. We prefer you to wrap it twice. That's actually preferred.
That's our preferred method.
Cut that part out.
So what do you, as you guys have kind of grown on the wide format side at least, what do you think has kind of separated maybe you guys from like I'm going to say the word mediocre sign companies out there, but some of the companies that maybe are struggling to grow. When we're out there, I always see like two types of customers. When I walk in and I ask like, oh, how's it going? And they'll be like, oh, we're busy as can be. We can't take any more work. And then some people will be like, yeah, the economy is really hitting us here, and be like, yeah, it's been rough out there, when I know that I just came out of their neighbor's shop 2 seconds ago and he said he can't even keep up with how much work he has, right? So what do you think kind of separates those two customers?
I think for us, since we're a family-owned company, people feel that when they talk to us. And when Joey and I are selling a print project, whether it be offset or wide format, they're talking to us, at the front end. They're talking to the owners. They're not talking to 3 different CSRs or whatever. So people appreciate that. It really cuts out a lot of time and BS or whatever. And I know there's other companies who work that way, and that's totally fine. But from what we've learned, people appreciate having a direct line of communication to us, the people who are making the calls and moving the schedule around to make things happen. So that's huge for us. And then, since we've been around since 1953, the one thing we've learned is to treat our business like a relationship with customers. Like, it's a relationship. We're offering a service and solutions. We're not looking to get rich off one wrap or, one job here or there. Like, we want the legacy connection. We want them returning for work. And in our case, we can offer different products like printing and mailing, and then wrap their fleet too on top of that. So that's huge for us specifically, but I'm not putting us on a pedestal. We're not the smartest guys in the industry by any means, but we definitely do it right by, treating our customers with respect, and they feel that they get that, that family owned vibe, which I think a lot of people appreciate nowadays. Especially a company like Wensco, people feel that. That's why we buy from you guys too. It's a different feel from the other guy out there.
Singular.
And the funny part is the other people, they're family owned too, but they've lost the,
that happens too.
They've lost the feel of who they are.
Right.
Yeah.
Which you get that when you get as big as they are too. Like, I can't fault them. Like, it's hard here. Like, it's hard. Like, when I used to say no, every employee and every employee's family are getting too big to be that way, but we still try. Like, we still put huge effort. I mean, I emailed one of our sales reps today, said, hey, I'm going to be there Thursday, Friday. I want to ride with you. Cause I got to go see those customers too. Like,
right.
So, and we always make ourselves way too busy here.
Yeah.
Like, we had a plan this year. Like, these are the things we want to get done. And then we threw a new branch in there and didn't change our other plans.
Yeah. It's July. We haven't gotten any of it done.
It's just like, it is what it is. So, but
yeah, I think it's, you talk about the family owned, but I think oftentimes it just feels like you're actually getting taken care of. Like, especially now, since COVID, like, there's so many times where you're just like, I just need a fix, and it doesn't, I don't think it's going to be as difficult as they're making it out to be, right? That's how I feel like half the time when I deal with people, not in our industry, but just like across the board. So I think when somebody reaches out and then like somebody like emails or calls them and was like, yeah, here's the options for you. And they're like, oh, this was easy. I don't know why this isn't always how it works. That is a totally different experience than most people are used to. So I always talk about too, like, I think people should make it as easy as possible to do business with you. And I think a lot of sign shops don't do that, right? Like, sometimes we'll need work here done, right? Like, this would be an example, right? Where I'd be like, I need this where I can't make it here in house. And so I'd be like, okay, I'm going to go through my customers and find out who can make it. And sometimes I'd be like, I have no idea what work these people offer. And second, I don't even know how to get a hold of them, right? Like, I have no clue what they do and how to get a hold of them. So like, if I'm feeling that as somebody who's like already familiar with them as a business, what do like outside people like think looking into your business?
Right.
And just like briefly knowing you guys and going through that stuff, I feel like that's what you guys do. Well, it's like, hey, here's what we do. And then like, here's like, also we've done it. Like, we're not saying we can do it. We're showing you that we've done it.
Right.
And I think that's huge. Like, if you just show up on your guys' website, it's gonna be like, oh, this is very clear. Like, I think I understand very well. So
right. I think too, a lot of people don't always know what they necessarily want. You kind of have to guide them, and being able to navigate that conversation and kind of steer the boat a little bit goes a long way.
Yeah, and
you were probably guessing in the beginning.
I'm still guessing. I'm still guessing.
He's just making it up.
Yeah. You come back like, this is what I sold. We don't even know how to do that. Huh? I sold it.
We'll figure it out.
Somebody make it.
I always joke. So we just did that letterhead show, right? And going into the show, it's a sign painter show, right? So I'm going in, I was like, I know absolutely nothing about what's going to happen here, right? People are going to ask me questions and I'm just going to be like, let me find out for you. I'm going to write this down. Can you write this word for word? Because I have no idea what you just said. For new people in the sign industry, I always tell people that like, what's like super familiar to you is completely foreign to them, right? When they come in, they're like, hey, we need this like thing. You'd like stick it in the ground. Some people use them for like garage sales. Do you know what these things? You'd be like, yeah, you need like a yard sign. Be like, yeah, oh yeah, that. Yeah, I need that. Be like, that word doesn't even like correlate to them, which I'm sure like you're running into, right? Where somebody would be like, yeah, I need a very specific thing. And you'd be like, sure. Yeah, let me get some information on that.
Yeah.
Google, what is polycarbonate? Like that's the stuff. Like some people just ask you, be like, I've never even heard this before. And somebody's like saying it as if it's Kleenex, you know, they're just like, you should know what this is. Be like, I have no clue.
Yeah. That's one thing I've kind of actually appreciated being green to the industry. It's like, how do we simplify it so that their heads aren't spinning when you're telling them these things? So it's not a bad thing to have that perspective from it, I think.
Yeah. Like even like we do this with Rick sometimes too, where he'll just be like, no, this is not very clear. Right. Because on our heads, you've been doing this long enough where you're just like this face. It's like the design question all over again, right? This is as clear as I could possibly be. And Rick will be like, I have no idea what you're trying to tell me. And be like, okay, so not clear. That's what I'm learning here. So being new, I'm sure that's something you've been like, yeah, this is not clear at all. Like for you guys, this makes sense. But for me, I'm like, I have no idea what you guys are trying to say. So 100%.
It's funny you mentioned that. It reminded me of a story like literally 10 years ago. I had a customer reach out. It was a referral from another printer who didn't know what the hell the client was asking for either. They wanted polypropylene. I'm like, I've never heard of that ever. So I'm Googling it and images
Isn't that a cleaning solution?
Well, no. So images of trash bags are coming up and I had wrote back to her. I'm like, I don't know what this is. I'm like, I'm going to make some calls, but it looks like it's trash bag material. And I think she interpreted this as if it was like a trashy material. She's like, I know, but this is what we need. So it turns out to be one of my favorite clients. I mean, I've had them for 10 years later, but they were printing scientific presentation posters on polypropylene. So that's how I got in with this customer 10 years ago. And literally we did one job and it just turned into a 10-year relationship. And I met some good friends out of them too, but it's so funny how, you know, they throw a new word out there. Like, I got to figure out what the hell this thing is. And I don't even remember how I found it. I think I reached out to some supplier and they're like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. And started print on it and that was it. So now it's a regular stocked item. Yeah. Every time I look at it, I think of trash bags for some reason.
This is just trash bag material. That's what it is. Yeah.
Luckily she had a sense of humor.
It happens all the time though. Like we're just, someone will ask for something, like even lately, like I'll get a question that comes in, be like, I've been doing this a long time and I have no clue what you just said. So I'm going to need to ask some very qualified people before I can learn about this. So if that makes you feel any better, you know, you'll be 8 years in, someone will ask a question, you'll still be like, I have no clue. I don't know what's going on.
You know, Tayton's been here how long now? 15,
longer than me. 10 years. Almost 10 years now.
10 years. He's been in the warehouse for 10 years. And every once in a while, he'll still come to me like, hey, what is this? I'm like, oh, I mean, so we haven't probably got it in 10 years, but it's like, oh, that's a pounce wheel. What was it used for? Well, that's how they did their pattern. Then they pounced it and then you pulled it up and then your pattern was underneath and they'd bend neon around it. But like, it's still stuff that like, what is this? And like, oh, got to bring your old mind back.
But I think being willing to like tell a customer, be like, I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out. Like is a way more honest approach than like, yeah, we totally can do this for you. We know exactly what we're talking about. Be like, I have no clue. I'm going to have to get back with you on this one.
Yeah, I have no issue doing that. I think, like you said, it's an honest answer and I think they appreciate that. So
yeah. And they know where you're coming from, at least where you're just like, we haven't done this, but it sounds like it's going to be in a warehouse, but let's find out. Let's talk to some people. So, yeah, we're here 53 minutes. I have a few questions.
Dang, that was fast.
I know. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
That's what I tell people. Like when you sit in here, this is my pitch to anyone that is listening now and still wants to come on the podcast. But
it's 82 freaking degrees in here though.
Is it?
I feel great.
I do too.
I'm not even sweating. I'll be sweating as soon as we walk out of here though. So
I luckily got my t-shirt on.
What are your guys' thoughts on, this is something I guess you brought up earlier that we can talk about, so I'll give you a chance to talk about it. What are your thoughts on kind of the changes that have been happening in the industry over the past like 2 to 5 years in terms of, I think, options from our side of the business, as well as options from like even suppliers and vendors and the type of people that you buy from before, I think are all shrinking is what it feels like from our end, besides all of the stuff that's coming in from China. I feel like you're getting less options on the US side of things and more options on the imported side of things, as well as less people to buy from than you had before. Which obviously we have opinions on it. We've talked about it before. What does it look like from a sign shop perspective on that one?
Yeah, I mean, not only the sign shop side of things, but on the paper printing side of things too. You know, we had like 3 main paper sources or vendors. One of those being Lewis Paper, and then they were bought out by Lindenmeyer during the COVID era and when there were paper shortages. So instead of having 3 different sources we could buy from, it went down to 2. And each of those suppliers had a max amount of paper we could buy a month, and we'd max that allocation out every month. So that sucked for us, you know, as a buyer. The sign side of things too, you know, there's a lot of consolidation in our industry with suppliers. Luckily for us, I mean, Wensco's always been one of our suppliers, I think, at least for the last 8, 9, 10 years. And I've always loved working with Wensco. So I never had a problem there, but you know, there's other little guys out there getting bought up, and I understand that business approach, but you know, from a buyer's point of view, it sucks not having options, because one guy might be out of something and you got to go scramble through your Rolodex to figure out, you know, who's got this one weird item someone's asking for. You got to figure it out. But the less options that are out there, I mean, the less options you have to offer your customers. So I don't think it's great for the industry for sure.
Yeah, and you're fortunate enough to be in a good city that there's still a bunch of us still there. You know, there's some big cities that there's no options. Well, there's one option.
I see that on signshoptalk.com, or there's a Facebook group, Sign Shop Talk. Really great. I don't know if you guys know about it, but great forum. But that's one thing I see people talking about all the time is, you know, XYZ company who you can figure out is, you know, they are now charging me X amount of money for a delivery. It used to be free. And that's, you know, that sucks for a lot of smaller shops that are, you know, out in the boonies or the sticks or whatever, who don't have the luxury we do. We can go drive, you know, the Addison location in Illinois is like 45 minutes, 30 minutes away from us. So like I can call right now and send my driver and he'll go pick up a will call order right now. And that's huge for us, but a lot of people don't get that anymore with things that have been shaken up in our industry. So
yeah, a lot of people that had that option not that long ago, you know, 2 years ago, they had options, and now there's not one.
And it's like one thing after the other. We all just survived COVID, and now you have to deal with this. It's like, you know,
when's it stop?
That's what we kept saying too, is it's just been like every year, like we have a plan and then someone will just harpoon that plan before you even get started. Right. And it's just been consistent at that pace, which, I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen it too, but it's been good for, once you can kind of get through some of that stuff, you just feel like, okay, this next one's not going to be nearly as bad, right? If I already figured out this one and this one and this one, then the next one is whatever. We've already done this a few times, which is kind of how I feel now, but it doesn't make it easy when business gets harder to do just naturally, that doesn't make it easy for anyone, which has been on your guys' side as well as I think our side as well. So it's been a weird couple of years for that. So 2 final questions. We talked about kind of bringing in new business. What tips do you guys have for, let's say, smaller sign shops who are thinking, like I said earlier, who are like, yeah, it feels like we're not getting much business in now. What are your guys' tips for somebody that's like in that spot where they want to bring in more business?
Honestly, meeting people. Like word of mouth is, I would argue, 98, 99% of our business is just word of mouth. Referrals are huge. I've lost track of how I know somebody from referral of a referral, which is the goal. And just, you know, getting out in your community and talking to people is so huge now, especially, you know, the digital ads get lost to me. I don't even pay attention to that stuff on the internet either, but if you go out and meet someone and put a face to a name and they're going to remember you, make a good impact, like it's going to do wonders for your business. You just show somebody what you can do and what you can offer. It's huge. Like joining our local chamber of commerce has been huge.
I just say doing good work. You know,
yeah, that's the biggest.
I was going to say, be nice and do good work.
Right.
Yeah.
Like those things seem very simple. So many people fail at them.
Right.
So many people fail at them.
You got one of the 2.
Oh, I'm nice.
Those are where I was going. But
and help people out too. Like, you know, I'll get like just on Thursday, you know, the day before 4th of July, I had a rush business card order. Like that's not paying anybody. We're not making any money on that, but it's for someone who does good work with us, it does big projects with us. Like, again, not paying any bills with this order, but it's helping them out. And like overnighted for an arrival today, I got to check the tracking to make sure it showed up today. But, you know, just simple thing like that will help people remember you. And it's funny, like I actually have some clients who don't even know like our business name is Graphic Image. They just know Frankie. Yeah, I'll call Frankie, which is a compliment. You know, like people know like I'll get done. You know, I figure it out. And, you know, just showing someone you're willing to do that and jump through hoops for someone, they remember that. And though what I've learned, I've told Joey this too, is like you meet someone at A company, you know, they usually stick around for a couple of years and then they go to B company. And then if you do a good job, they're going to remember you and they're going to take you with them. So I'm still doing work for A and now I'm doing work for B. And then they move to C and then I'm still doing work for all those companies, which it's been huge for me specifically, but our company in general is just making those connections and building relationships is huge. You know, you don't try to win the lotto off one job. It's about the legacy you can offer and start that relationship with the client. So taking that approach, I think is huge.
Yeah. And then I think that's great. Guys, before we leave today, I just wanted to ask you one quick question, and that is, what is a pirate's favorite application tape? R tape. R tape is the #1 application tape in the United States, and it comes with an RLA, which is a release liner adhesion, meaning it's going to stick to the liner. Even on cut graphics, if you roll it, it's not going to tunnel, wrinkle, or curl, or anything like that. So if you're looking for the best application tape for cut graphics out there, R tape RLA is for you, and you can get it at Wensco.com. What advice do you have for I'll ask you actually, because this is a good question. What advice do you have for people who are either new to this industry or maybe are even just looking to get into it? What advice do you have for those people that are just getting started?
Don't do it.
Yeah,
just kidding.
Once you're in, yeah, so don't start.
No, I'm just kidding. I think it was different for me having, you know, we're doing wide format, we're doing offset, we're doing a bunch of different things. And I put a lot of pressure on myself to kind of figure it out quick and get going. And, you know, it takes a long time. Like you said, you know, you're going to be 8 years in and you're still going to have a question about a material or something like that. So, you know, it's good to have pressure on yourself, but it's good to understand that what you're trying to learn is, you know, I had no idea what all went into this. You know, there's so much, there's so many layers of lamination and finishing, whatever it may be. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to figure it all out at once, but and be a sponge. You know, ask questions. I ask questions every day. Probably too many questions. Definitely too many questions. But that's what you got to do to learn. And I'm not afraid to do it. You know, you can't be scared to annoy your brother about you know, a sign project. But ask questions and be a sponge. That's it.
Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, just ask those questions and have those relationships or connections with people in the industry, or, you know, go on YouTube, like figure it out. You know, if you got a question, type it in, you'll find Tyler setting up a laminator and you'll remember how to set. But no, seriously, it's like get those resources because they're out there. You just got to kind of hunt for them. Or if you don't know, call the local sign shop and just tell me, hey, dude, I'm new to this. You know, can you teach me about, you know, flex LED? Like, I don't know anything about it. It looks sweet. I'd like to offer it, but I don't know anything about it. So, you know, hopefully they're willing to teach you. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
But,
by the way, that's my least favorite answer. Look it up.
Look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, go figure it out. I was just thinking
figure it out yourself is actually what he meant to say.
We sent Tater out to do that rollover install. I think it was Tater. It might have been Tater and Jason to do a rollover install. They never installed one before. And the person asked how to use it. He looked up a video, and it's that video of me when I was probably your age.
It's the old video.
When I was probably your age, showing how to work a rollover. So he used my video from like 20 years ago, probably. YouTube was barely around when I put that video out.
It's funny. It's funny now that like we've been making these videos long enough that like when we were just making a joke, when we walked ISA, like I see my face 4 times as I walk the show, just like in people's booths. I didn't know that it was there, right? I'll just like walk and be like, huh, it's weird. I know that guy. That's
They're
me.
using our videos in their booths at ISA.
At the show. It's like, I had no idea, but appreciate it. So,
well, speaking of which, that's another thing too, like go to shows. Go to those shows. Those are opportunities. Like I remember going to every single SGIA when it was SGIA, all the ISAs, Printing United, Print when that was in Chicago. And I go talk to people and ask questions there too. Like they're the professionals. They're going to tell you, they'll probably try to sell you a couple things, but you'll learn. It's funny you mentioned the rollover. Like we bought our rollover table from you guys, but I had seen it at a show, and then I got so sick and tired of hand mounting stuff. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm just wasting all this time. Like this is what we need for other purposes too. But get out to those opportunities and learn something. I'd sign up for like the other classes they offer, the additional classes, and just go listen to someone speak and take something back with you. Like knowledge is literally everything. You got to keep learning.
For sure.
I always think it's funny. Rollover is a good example of this, but like when we do open houses or when I'm at shows and you see somebody that like just realized that they've been wasting hours and hours of their time every week, right? They just see like one thing and you just be like, you're telling me this thing has always existed and nobody told me about it. And rollover is a good example of that, but even like equipment, right? Like some people will be doing something a very specific way and they're like, it takes me 5 hours a week and I just watched you do it in 4 minutes. You'd be like, yes, just mail it to my house. I don't know what I need to do. I'll sign anything. But if you're not doing shows or you're not going to open houses, like the sales rep's job should be to go out and show you new stuff, but there's way too much new stuff to show you, right? And they may not know exactly what you're doing or what your business application is. And if you're not doing the work on your end, you're probably never going to see it or know about it. So,
right.
Yeah. Without sitting in their shop all day, seeing their workflow going like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
There's steps in between that you could skip or you could miss, or, we see most of it anyways. So.
Yeah. It's even the small things like slitters on the back of laminators, right? Some people, doesn't matter. They would never use them. It's never going to be a factor. Some people, biggest thing in the world, right? They find out that that's an available option. They don't have to slit it after the fact. You'd be like, why did nobody tell me? Be like, well, I didn't know you needed it until you asked me about it.
We just used ours to cut down a super long polypropylene print. It was like 418 inches. Like, why don't we just web it up to the GFP and just use the slitters? That's exactly what we did. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Versus hand cutting it,
even like for me, it was just, we did a full wrap on a roll and this is me being lazy partially, but partially I only had one thing available. So 60-inch laminate on a 54-inch roll, right? Mm-hmm. So the laminate's just at some point, it's just going to start getting stuck on the machine. And I just used the slitters, put 2 cores on the end, ran flawless. And then when I trimmed it down, it didn't even get stuck because I had already cut the edge of the laminate off.
Smart.
And you would never, if you didn't have that option, you would have just been like, well, this will be fun when I go to roll this out later and it's all stuck on the end. It's the worst.
I've done it.
But you see the guy stand there with a knife. They make slitters to do that.
Yeah. He's holding
that's a $5 part.
You're holding the blade in between the 2 rollers, so it cuts the laminate before it gets onto your take-up rail. If you're doing that, I have a laminator recommendation for you. But yeah, you would never know unless you went and did it. So
Rick's saying wrap it up. He's been saying that for a half hour.
He's just hungry.
He's hungry.
We're only at 66 minutes. It's only 82 degrees, so we're doing pretty good. So, well, thanks, guys. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having us, though.
But thanks for coming. We appreciate you making the drive.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Like from top down, from our Wensco delivery driver to, I just learned that Al retired.
Yep.
I'm so bummed. I talk to Al all the time. He always called me, and he worked here, right, in this facility?
No, he worked in Chicago. He did work in Chicago.
Okay. I never got to meet him face to face, but
it's a good guy you're losing.
Yeah, he's a really good guy. And we never had any problems with anyone else, but just like we're on first name basis with both of our Wensco delivery guys. They're just, you guys are great. So it's, we appreciate you guys reaching out and having us here too. So thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the nice words. We'll clip that for social media later. Thank you. I'll pay them their $20 after we're done. But I was just laughing about, we've been talking about this forever, that we have people that stick around for a really long time, and it's never been more true than like the last 7 months. How many people did we have retire in the last?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like people that have been at Wensco for so long and now they're like, yeah, we're retiring. Be like, well, shoot, I didn't expect this to be the way that we have to find somebody new. So, it's good, right, for us to have somebody that's been around that long, but it's hard to replace people that have been here. I mean, how long was Carl here?
Forever.
75 years?
Yeah, I think he worked for us for 75 years, maybe 100 years.
Yeah, 105 years I think he's been here, so it's crazy. Like we printed a banner for him, and some of the pictures on there were like, I think they were like legitimately black and whites. Like that was the only option we had at the time.
It might have been.
So it's just insane. But yeah, appreciate it, guys. Appreciate you coming out. But
Thank you.
We'll see you guys the next one. So bye.
Really?